Is it weak to stand by your man, particularly if he has cheated?
I admire Hillary more for standing by Bill Clinton. I mean, I admire her tremendously. When you look at Donald Trump, what's he done? Traded one wife in for another. And what kind of example is that? If Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton's relationship isn't any business of ours, really, and I think she's a tremendously strong woman. I'm depressed when I hear feminists say that she's not a true feminist for putting up with his affairs. We don't know what their marriage is all about. And if you look at a TV series like House of Cards, they're both as ambitious as each other. And I kind of think that applies to Hillary and Bill Clinton. But, you know, if we look back in this country, look at our politicians. We've got a former mayor of London who's had a very colourful life with a few children. Saying no more because the lawyers will be gagging me. But what do we think of Boris Johnson? Do we think he's great or a womaniser?
That's what kind of annoys me more. I don't think men... No one brings that up about men. No one has said that about Donald Trump. Well, it's already... You know, you're saying that, but you just swapped wives or whatever. Yeah. But it seems that women... You know, if they leave, it's like, how can you leave your marriage? And it was probably you weren't paying them enough attention. And if you stay, you're weak. It's like you can't win, and I hate that. And I think it's really difficult anyway to judge anybody's marriage when you're not the person in love with that person. And like Hillary said at one point, I wasn't going to throw away 20 years.
Well, Eamon and I interviewed her, and I was quite nervous about bringing that subject up. You know, it's such a long time ago now, and we were talking all about politics, actually asking if she was going to be running in the election campaign, which she said she wasn't sure at the time. But we did eventually get round to Bill, and she said, of course I was angry, of course I was hurt. You know, we had a lot of words behind closed doors, but she said, and I did then have to think, I'm not going to throw away this marriage. And I think it's very hard in the public eye. Well, Katie, you know more than any of us sitting on this panel. When you're in the public eye and somebody very publicly cheats on you and you're humiliated, everybody's got an opinion. Everyone's talking about it, all the columnists are writing about it. And it's almost like people are waiting, aren't they? Right, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Yeah, well, in my situation, everyone said, just leave Kieran. You know, it would have been so easy to walk away. So easy, but I thought, no, I'm going to fight for this. And now we always say the old Kieran is dead. It's like a different person. It's so weird. And there's a new Kieran that's been reborn. You know, it was tough for me. I was pregnant at the time. I couldn't turn to drink. I don't do drugs anyway. And I didn't go on medication. It was through pure strength that I went through it. And I always give myself a pat on the shoulder that I was that strong to save him, despite everyone saying, this is the worst betrayal anyone could do to you. How on earth could you save him? How could you trust him?
And because you did stay...
It's the best thing I ever did.
Did you notice, like, if you lost fans or...
I think a lot of people are like, oh, it's not going to last, not going to last. Even the therapist said he was one of the worst he's ever treated, to the point he said he spent 3 days with him and said...
Kieran was?
Yeah, I can't help him because he's just lying to himself. So it was up to Kieran to make that change. And everyone now, they all say, I can't believe it's been over 2 years now. They can see a change. They can see a change in Kieran. So I think it's easy to walk away, but I think if you really want something, you fight for it, you do it. And
or make it your own decision. I think a lot of women or men in that situation initially are almost forced into making the decision to please everybody else. And
I think whether you're in the public eye or not, I mean, everybody who's going through a breakup, the minute you tell somebody that person's got an opinion, whether it's your sister, brother, your parents, their parents, friends,
so many people have said to me they all have opinions about my relationships, but only I know what they're like. And I will say one thing about Bill and Hillary.
Give them a new name.
Bill and Hillary Clinton. They've got a tremendous daughter, and she's produced a grandchild for them, and she's happily married, and they did that really well. And I remember meeting Chelsea Clinton, thinking what a nice person she was. I think if Hillary is ambitious, the bottom line comes down to people aren't comfortable with that. And that's what we don't really want to admit.
An ambitious woman.
An ambitious woman makes everybody feel a little bit uncomfortable, whereas they're quite happy with Donald Trump or the people we've got here, all these white middle-aged men fighting, telling us to leave Europe or stay in Europe. We're quite happy with all of them. But a woman... everybody's got an opinion about that.
I remember as well when it happened to me, you know, there was women at the time in our business as well who used to say, listen, as long as he brings you home a diamond when he comes back.
Oh, I hate
As
that.
long as it, and you know what? For me, I was horrified at the time, and I was like, no, that will never ever make up for it for me. But you know what? For them, it did.
I
And
hate
who am I
women
to?
like that.
But who am I
Hate
to
it.
judge them? They carried on and went on for 30, 40 years. You know,
I
that's
didn't
up
get
to
no
them. You have
dimes.
to-
I just got more chickens, dogs, and that. I just got more expense by feeding animals.
Wait until you watch these and click here to subscribe. You may as well. It's totally free.
Even if I said, do you know what, I'm going to let that one go, we've got a son together, I don't want to break up this family, I would make his life such hell.
But if
It
Jack
would
said,
be such
okay,
a
so,
horrible
but
witch.
if Jack said to you,
He would probably
so
leave.
you have put me in a separate home to my dad on the
He's
basis,
done that. He's done it.
on the
has.
basis
He's
that
done
my
it.
dad
Yeah.
sent a text
Yeah.
to
No,
somebody.
I'd say he's done that
Yeah,
because
Eamon's done
he knows how that would have made me feel.